In this video, we're going to discuss hip rotation, specifically why you need to have enough hip rotation range of motion and what ends up happening when you don't have enough range of motion. Additionally, I'm going to show you an assessment that you can do on yourself from the comfort of your own home to see if you have enough hip rotation range of motion. And I'm going to give you a few mobilizations that you can also do from home to improve your hip rotation range of motion. Now, not only can poor hip rotation range of motion be an early indicator that you might have hip arthritis, but it can also significantly impair your ability to perform day-to-day activities. Think things like getting in and out of a vehicle, walking, running, squatting. These are all going to be impaired if you don't have adequate hip rotation range of motion. And then if you're involved in a sport like golf or tennis, something that's very rotational in nature, you really need to have adequate hip rotation. When we don't have enough hip rotation, not only can the hip joint start to become painful, but neighboring joint systems like our knees and our lower back begin to take on more of the movement burden, and they themselves can become painful as well. Now, let's take a look at an assessment to see if you have adequate hip rotation range of motion. To assess yourself, set yourself up in a hip 90-90 position with one thigh extending in front of you and one thigh extending out to the side and both knees bent to 90 degrees. See if you can hold yourself in an upright position with your hands off the ground and attempt to stay in this position for a count of 5 breathing cycles. Take a yoga block and place it under the rear knee. From here, you're going to push the rear inside of the ankle down into the floor maximally and hold that for about 10 seconds. After that, lift both arms off the ground and reach towards the rear foot and attempt to hold that for 10 seconds. With the rear knee bent to 90 degrees, attempt to lift the foot off the ground as high as you can and hold for 10 seconds. Repeat several times. Using an incline bench, cross one leg onto the bench. Keep the lower leg parallel to the body. Then walk your rear leg back behind you as far as you can. From here, try to deepen the front hip crease and do little pulses of this motion to help deepen the stretch. As your mobility improves, you can progress to a flat bench or other flat surface. Just make sure that the outside of your knee is able to get flat to the table. Similarly, walk your leg back behind you and you can continue to do those pulses. And if you're feeling advanced, you can lift your arms off while trying to hold your torso in the same position. For our most advanced variation, set up the same way as the previous mobilization, but this time grab some weight and you're going to perform a good morning exercise in this elevated pigeon position. Think more deepening the front of the hip crease as opposed to folding forward. We want to try to keep the spine nice and straight the entire time.